All right, it's a cocktail Q&A, and we're here to answer all your questions.
And make cocktails.
Of course.
That's it. That's the video. So welcome back to our channel. If you are new here, I'm Katie.
I'm Steph.
We are a married lesbian couple from Vancouver and the creators of Let's See the World.
Theo is here. You probably can't see him, but he's observing. He's going to make sure I make this cocktail right.
Yes, Theo is the lead bartender. So Theo and Steph are going to be in charge of drinks. I'm going to be in charge of questions, and let's get into it. Okay, so first, why don't you tell everyone and me what we're making? What are we making?
All right, so I'm going to do a slow gin and tonic with bitters and lime.
Excellent, easy. Love a good gin and tonic.
Yeah.
Yummy. Theo says he actually wants to help with questions.
Yeah.
Okay, so first question is, where do you live? We live in Vancouver, BC, British Columbia, Canada, which if you've never heard of.
It's in North America. It's that
really
big
cold.
country,
It's that big country above the US. I feel like most people have heard of it.
Yeah.
But that's where we live. Next question, diving right into it, is do you want to have kids? We just filmed a video all about this.
We did just film a video all about this, so we're going to keep the answer short, and the answer is no.
No, we are staying child-free, and we do have videos all about that decision, and you can go watch them. Next question is, do you want another pet? I feel like people really want us to get a friend for Theo, especially when they know we're not having kids.
You know,
like, well, what about Theo?
Theo is absolutely an only child.
Oh, yeah.
He wouldn't want to have a sibling.
That's the thing. If you ever met him or like saw the dynamic, he is definitely an only child. I really feel like he would hate having another pet.
Yeah, he would. He doesn't share well. He
No.
doesn't. He doesn't want anyone to steal attention. So
No. And I think for us, it would just be a lot. It would be a big change. It would be a lot of work having anher dog. I assume is what we.
It would make it harder to travel with.
Yeah. He's just the perfect. We could have never asked for a better pet. This looks good. What kind of bitters is that?
Aromatic bitters.
Ooh. I love a good slow gin. If you've never had slow gin, it's really good. It's like half the alcohol. It's like 20% or something.
It's a slow berry, and
It's English.
It's English, and it's lower in alcohol.
Yeah, and it's very festive. Feels like a night. I know the holidays are over, but it's still winter, so yeah, we're still drinking holiday things. Next question is, how long have you been together? We've been together for almost 11 years. It'll be 11 years officially in like 2 weeks. Very focused. That's good. Any upcoming travel plans? No, we touched on this a little in our kind of life update for the new year. We've postponed pretty much all of our travel plans at this point. We have one more thing that we're like not sure if it's going to happen or not, but basically we don't have any travel plans.
That's right.
Coming up soon. We have some in the distant future that who knows what'll happen. We'll see.
All right, so cocktails are done. I can explain a little bit of what I've done. It was pretty straightforward. I basically just put a little bit of lime in with the ice, and then our slow gin here. I kind of eyeball everything that I do, so, and then a couple dashes of the bitters. So
That sounds good.
there we go.
Okay. Cheers. Cheers. Cheers to you. You can have a cocktail while you watch. That's nice. Okay, what exactly is your business and how do you make money? So I assume like Let's See the World as our business. We'll explain how we make money. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, so our business is Let's See the World, and it's a community for queer women. We create resources on our blog for travel under normal circumstances, and also lifestyle. So we've got our Instagram, our YouTube, which you are watching on, hello, and our blog as our main 3 platforms. Through Instagram, we make money with brand partnerships and campaigns. On YouTube, we make money through ad revenue. So basically just traffic and watch hours.
Yeah, so there are different ways to monetize content online, and we sort of have different revenue streams that all kind of come together to create our income. So some of that's going to be client work. We have a manager who we work with on all of our like contracts and everything with different brands. So sometimes we'll be creating content for those brands to use and licensing it to them, so photo and video content. And then sometimes we'll be creating content in partnership with them for our own platform. So there's kind of lots of different ways that works. And then other times we're just monetizing our content online, as Steph said, like through views and things like that. So yeah, there's lots of different ways to make money as creators online. We also have like a consulting division of our business, so we consult with small businesses and other creators. That's something that we really enjoy doing as well, and something we want to grow in 2022.
Yeah, and we actually have a sale on our consulting services for January.
We do.
So everything is 22% off.
Yes, all of our consulting sessions. Yeah, I'll leave it in the description box below if you want to check it out, if you're a business owner or a creator online. We'd love to work with you. Yeah, so that answers that. Next question is, do we both identify as lesbians?
The answer, yes.
Yes, we do. But I feel like we also use the terms queer and gay kind of all interchangeably. We definitely identify as queer women and as gay women, as well as identifying as lesbians. And I do think that those all work together, even though we've been told that you have to pick one. I don't think that's true.
One of the reasons we love using the term queer is because it's more inclusive, and historically the lesbian community has been very inclusive of all gender identities and basically people who haven't had spaces of their own, and we want to continue that on and
definitely
create this inclusive community.
For sure. And I think labels are such a personal thing, so if those are the labels that feel good to us, then we are allowed to use them, and same goes for anyone else. Whatever label feels right to you is the label that you can and should use.
Exactly.
Okay, next question. At what ages did we come out? Mine's a little simpler, so I'll start. I came out at 22.
Yeah. End of
Are
story.
you gonna sing the song? No.
We'll ask Taylor if she can do a version of I Came Out at 22.
Yeah. But yeah, I came out basically on my 22nd birthday when I started dating Steph. So it was kind of like, hey, I have a girlfriend and I'm gay, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
world.
hey.
Yeah, I kind of started the coming out process at 17 in high school, and then have kind of, I don't know, continued it on ever since. We kind of come out all the time, so
Yeah, but like you started.
That would be, I would say 17.
Yeah. Do your families support your relationship? So we are very lucky to have a lot of family and chosen family that does support our relationship. We've also had to set some boundaries and let go of some relationships that were not supportive. So yes and no, I guess, is the answer to that question. But
yeah, I would say the people who are supportive are very supportive, so we feel really lucky.
Absolutely, yes. Do you both have siblings? Yes, we both have sisters. I'm the youngest of 3.
I'm the youngest of 2. So we're the babies in the family.
Babies, which I think makes a lot of sense. I like that we're both the youngest because I feel like we're very similar in a lot of ways.
We are and we aren't, though, because I think being the youngest of 2, you're a little bit more reckless than maybe the youngest of 3.
That's true, because I'm not as much of a risk taker being the youngest, because I'm the youngest of 3, and I feel like that's different.
Yeah, but I am very much a risk taker.
Yeah.
And rules are kind of a suggestion more than
a rule.
Than something that's definitive.
Yeah. Who's older? Steph is older.
I'm older.
5 years older. Next question, what was coming out like? I feel like that's a really long layered
We both have
answer.
videos about that,
Yeah,
about
we
our
do.
coming out experiences, so we can link those here. But then,
Short versions.
Yeah, I don't know. I think for me, coming out was more kind of a reckoning with my own internalized homophobia than it was about other people. So
That's heavy. That's a really good way of putting it. Because that is kind of what coming out is all about.
But
it's
I
not
think
just
that's
about
also-
telling people, it's about like coming out to yourself.
yeah, I mean, that's also why it took longer than just like, okay, I'm 17, I'm out. That's it.
Like, yeah, of course. There's layers. There's like shit to deal with.
Yeah, it takes a lot of kind of digging deep to figure out where all those feelings have come from, and
Yeah.
so
Coming out is really just like sorting through your trauma.
kind of
Right? It's just like one big therapy experience, because we grow up in a world that is homophobic, and coming out is like unlearning all of those things and teaching yourself how to exist in a world that is homophobic as a queer person.
Yeah. And for me, it was very much like the moment, or, you know, moments that I stopped lying to myself, or I stopped trying to be something that I wasn't, or trying to suppress things about myself that I knew deep down but wouldn't let myself actually believe.
Right. Yeah. I think for me, it was, I don't know, it was like finally answering the question that I'd had about myself for so long. And for me, it took like meeting someone and finally having this like aha experience and this aha moment of like, oh yeah, okay, this is what I thought I could never find. And then I found it and I was like, yeah, everything makes sense all of a sudden.
Right.
And so it felt like a really positive experience in the beginning because it was just like telling everyone about my new relationship, and I was so excited and I was so sure of myself and I was so happy. And then I had never sort of dealt with the reality of being queer and like what it would mean for my life and how, like, what I would have to go through, what I would have to experience, and like what it all meant. And so it was like later on that I think I dealt with like all the heavy stuff that you did. So initially it was just like fun and exciting, and then it was like, oh, this is like changing my entire life and it's a lot.
Wait a second, this is why it's hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Next question, kind of in line with that, is how do we deal with homophobia, both in person and online? And both of those, I guess, are very different. I think online, obviously, we deal with a lot of homophobia because we share our life online and we share our relationship online, and people can be really mean online. And so we deal with homophobia like every day.
Yeah, and I think online there are so many people who feel quite comfortable kind of on their keyboards and behind their screens, and so typically we won't engage with people online because it just goes nowhere and it's not worth our energy.
I would say our philosophy for online is just like block, delete, ignore, like don't bother, especially if it's a comment on our public platform. I also just don't want anyone else in our community to have to see it because dealing with homophobia online can just be very traumatic, and we're more well equipped to deal with it because we have to deal with it all the time, but not everybody is, and I can only imagine how harmful and hurtful seeing those things can be, so I always just try and get rid of it right away.
Yeah, we want our platform to be a safe space.
Exactly.
So that's how we want to keep it. That being said, in person, I would say we deal with it quite different.
We're more bold.
Oh, for sure, but also because I think that having a conversation with someone in person, as long as it's a safe environment and it's okay to do so, I think someone's a lot more receptive to actually talking about it.
I think there's only been a couple instances ever where we've dealt with instances like having people like yell stuff out at us on the street or whatever. Like that very rarely happens.
Yeah.
But the times that it has, I think I always thought I would just kind of ignore it and brush it off. But the times that it has happened, I've like exploded and yelled at people. Like, this is not acceptable. Like, you can't talk to us like that. Like, I will not allow it. I won't allow it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think if it's safe to do so in those scenarios, like, it's okay to do that because it's not okay. It's not okay. We had a situation like that recently. It wasn't homophobia, but there was some guy being very transphobic on the street, just openly, publicly, and we both just couldn't help ourselves. I lost my mind yelling at him, and I don't know. I don't really regret it. I don't know that we changed his mind.
I don't think we changed his mind, but I think it's important when someone is standing there being transphobic and all these people are walking by thinking like, oh yeah, that's a normal thing. No, it's not a normal thing, and it shouldn't be accepted.
No. Those were all a lot of heavy questions all in a row. There was only one more, but I don't know that you'll want to answer it. Someone asked, who is the bottom in your relationship?
What, you don't think I'm going to want to answer it?
I don't think we're going to want to answer it. I don't know. I feel like we've had this conversation before, and I feel like a bad queer person for like never really understanding what that meant. Like tops and bottoms, like in relationships between queer women. Like I feel like I've never like got that. So when people ask that question, I'm always like, I don't even know.
Okay, so I feel like I have a little bit more insight to it now because like I've been listening to some podcasts and you know there's been some talk about this, and I think
enlighten me.
Well, okay, I think it's more than it's more like the dynamic of the relationship, and like someone can be a top in the dynamic of the relationship, and it doesn't necessarily like translate to roles in the bedroom. If you know what I mean? It's not like. It's not as simple or straightforward as one might think.
Because what I've read, because I was Googling it on this question, was that like those terms kind of came out of like the kink community, and then it was adopted by like the queer community, but it always sort of applied more so to like gay men, because oftentimes it's like there's very, like in a couple, there's very obviously a top and a bottom. And I've always like understood that concept clearly. But then when it comes to queer women, I've always been like, but what exactly does that mean? And is there always like definitive roles? Because I've just never felt like that's applied to us. But I think in the queer women community, like people do strongly identify as one or the other, or as like in the middle. Whereas I've never personally like thought about it. Like what? like what I identify as,
Right.
or what you do. I just thought it was a really interesting question, something I'd never really like investigated for myself, or nothing, like I just not, it's always been something that I felt uneducated about.
I would say it's a lot more dynamic than what seems obvious.
I think I have more research to do.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned, and maybe we'll have to answer that question in the future.
Or if anyone wants to, send us in the right direction, leave a comment and let us know.
Let us know what
why
I'm missing.
We don't know what we're talking about, because
Yeah.
I'm sure we don't know what we're talking about.
I'd love some thoughts and feelings in the comments. Okay, well that was actually it. Those were all of our questions.
Yeah.
If you ever want to submit questions for us to answer on our YouTube channel, I always take them from Instagram, which is where our greater community is. So we'll leave our Instagram here. And
Bigger
in the
community,
description
not
box.
greater. We love you too.
Oh, of course I meant bigger. Yes, but make sure you're following us on Instagram, because I put question boxes in our stories all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, is that it?
I think so.
Okay.
Cheers. Well, thank you so much for watching, and please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Hopefully you did.
Yes, let us know if you want to see more cocktail hour Q&As, because we're just at home right now, and this is a great evening activity for us, so just let us know.
Yeah, we are not doing dry January.
No, we are not. We are stuck at home in the middle of a pandemic, and dry January just feels like no. So anyways, thank you for watching, and Theo says bye.
Theo says bye.
Can you say